Hello and welcome to episode 7 of this Let's Play series in Cities Skylines 2. Now in the last episode we didn't really get a lot done. It was mainly just fixing some small issues with roads and adding some education in, some various buildings that we needed, fire, and as you can see there's a lot happening in the city at the moment. We've got accidents over here, we've got abandoned buildings, there's fires, there's high rent. All of these are warning signs that the city's not doing well, and it might have something to do with me increasing the taxes very early on. However, I am losing a lot of money at the moment, and I don't want to change that yet. As soon as I start hitting positive money or profit, then I will actually change the taxes. I'll reduce them again as long as we stay positive. That might have a big impact on the city, but we will just have to see what happens. So, I am going to have a look at the map tiles we've got because I think it's going to be worth opening some of these, and obviously you can't click off of that, which is helpful. I want to open the section down here, however, that means having to purchase tiles just with water, which is not ideal. But I think I might do these 4 in this section because then it allows me to start building bridges and cutting across into this section here. And perhaps even that one, which is going to cost 86,000, but that's fine. There is oil there. Yeah, that's fine. So we're going to purchase those. And I think looking at this, I may have to purchase this tile because it just cuts off where this road is likely to cut through, which is very helpful. Now, just taking a look at the specialised industry again. I just want to see where we can put coal, which is nowhere near where we've got opened. Stone mining, I am assuming stone can be placed anywhere. Let's have a look. Stone mining can be set up anywhere. Vegetable farming needs fertile land, which we haven't unlocked unfortunately, although we have, and it's right in the area where I wanted to build the city. We'll have to put that up the top. That'll have to wait. Grain farming needs fertile land, and livestock farming can be anywhere, which we've already got one of those. I might place which one was it? For some reason, when you click on stone mining, it highlights the oil deposit, which is odd. It says you can place it anywhere. However, surely there's a non-renewable natural resource that can be extracted by the ore mining. So 1.7 tonnes. That isn't a lot. So that would suggest to me that this isn't worth doing, stone mining. Let me place one down in our area up here. I think that is the pollution area, I'm not sure. I'm not going to place it actually. I don't know what it does. If it's only 1.7 tonnes of this whole map compared to the 17 kilotons of wood and other things we've got, I don't know if it's worth putting that down yet. So we're going to leave that, I think. I'm just going to purchase this extra tile so we can continue building the road. There we go. We do have a demand for office zones, which we haven't got many of yet. My idea was to keep those in the main city, but I may have to place some here too. which I didn't want to do because I wanted to keep that residential. However, people need to work. So what I might do is actually place some here on the edge of this section. And I actually want to make this water going through there. I'm just going to see if I can do that using the terrain tool. So I believe we want to, if we can level the terrain, I don't know if that's going to work. I'm wondering if I can just level it. No. So I think what that's doing is leveling the same height. That is not what I wanted to do. So let's try bringing this in here. I'm just going to zoom out and see what that looks like. So that doesn't look too bad. It's going to turn into more of a cliff face by the looks of it. I'm not very good at the terrain tool, I have to admit. It doesn't quite have the same effect when I'm going to have to bring this around this way. So it doesn't have the same effect when I do it with the terrain tool. So I see people do this and the things they build look incredible. Everything's so well done. Whereas when I do it, it looks like somebody's just thrown something at the screen and it's broken. And I've just accidentally slipped there and probably removed some of the terrain on there, underneath these buildings. Now I'm hoping these buildings don't disappear because I've accidentally destroyed the zoning. I'm hoping to make this into like a little, just a canyon where water can flow through and it just looks nice for people. It's of absolutely no value to this game whatsoever and no value to the city. But if we turn that around, and then if I press play, you can see the water is starting to flow through. And hopefully I haven't done this where it's actually going to start flooding the city. It's getting very high. Let's bring this down more. And perhaps these walls we can just shrink in slightly. Just to make this a little bit more. There we go. Now I don't like this. I've accidentally left that in there. We'll get rid of that. And then if we zoom out, it obviously looks a lot deeper than what this does because I might have gone a bit too far. So what I'm going to do is actually make this part deep as well. So if we bring the brush strength up and the brush size, if I make this part deep as well, it might not look as, I think that's easier than trying to bring it to make it look more shallow. That works. We've obviously got, that could do with tidying up a little bit, but I don't think it's that bad. And we have another signature building. I'm not going to place that just yet while I figure out this sort of area. This bridge, I'm assuming, is safe. I'm not a structural engineer, but the game doesn't seem to think it needs anything underneath it, so we'll go with that. I think that adds a nice, just a nice little touch to the city. Something different, a bit of water flowing through. It would have been good to actually bring that all the way through and have like a a river or something going through the middle of the city, but I don't think it's essential to worry about that. This area is a commercial zone, mix of residential. I don't think anyone's going to fall in the cliff. We don't need any signs, so we're all good. I've wanted to do that for a while, that section, so it's not taken as long as I thought, and I know it's not the best job done, but it's still done nevertheless. The demand we have is slowly creeping up. Again, it's not moving as fast as I would like. I would like this to start pushing a lot more. And I'm unsure on why that is, because we have education, we have all the industry, we have commercial, we have offices. There's no reason why the demand for residential shouldn't be going up. And part of me thinking there's something missing, and I'm not sure what it is. Could it be that we need to bring cell service in so we have internet, make it more attractive for people to live here? But then again, that's another expense that I'm bringing into the city. I might try it. Let's have a look. If we put it here, it should cover the main part of the city, and it's right near the office zones. Let's put it on this edge and see what happens. We have noise pollution low, upkeep 5,000 a month. It's fairly inexpensive. And I'm actually beginning to think, as I pause the game and place that, the taxes could be the reason why people aren't moving here. So, I'm actually going to drop this down 1, which isn't the best idea. The budgets for things I'm not too worried about at the moment. If we drop that down by 1, let's see if the demand goes up for residential. That should have dropped it by 1 on every section. And it looks like we've got a mixture of poorly educated and educated people in the city. That's fine. So now we've dropped that by 1. Let's see if the demand starts rising. It seems like the commercial is struggling with customers, but now some of those have just disappeared. And again, I don't know whether that's because people can't access commercial or whether it's because the taxes are too high. We'll figure that out as we go. I'm going to remove these abandoned buildings. And this one here. We'll get rid of those because we don't want that happening. And I was thinking, before I do that thought, let's actually add the demand for what we've got here, which is, I think, high residential or medium. I can't tell. Let me go on that. I think it's high residential, which is it can't be a demand for high residential. It must be. The colours there aren't really clear, because to me that looks dark green, but it must be medium. So we've got a medium density demand, which I'm going to satisfy now. Medium density housing. Let's place that over in this section here, I think. And I'm going to do this a bit different. I don't want to place that actually like that. I'm just making these blocks smaller because I want them to be different types of buildings. I think I've messed that one up by... We'll see if that builds. I'm not sure what's happening there. And then we will build these as normal. That should help with the demand for medium density, but it still doesn't seem to be going down for some reason. It seems like everything's just gone slow. There's a really slow rate of growth. We do need more industry again, and I'm not sure where to put it. We're going to start becoming stuck soon because I've got residential all in this area waiting to be built, but then I've also got the demand for industry again, which I think might have to go up this way. Let's bring in some roads. We'll make another row just so we can satisfy the need for now. I don't know what's happening with this corner here. That's gone a bit crazy. I don't know what's happening there, so we'll have to put, I think, a roundabout in there just to make that a bit neater. Now that works. In Europe you do get no roundabouts, perfectly round with straight roads. Some you'd have like a road right next to another one, and then you have to go all the way around just to turn off. So it's never perfect. And we would just select this whole area, which should bring the demand for that down. We have some fires breaking out. I'm just going to check the fire coverage. Fire hazard, for some reason, it was in the red, but it's just changed. That's fine. No natural disasters as of yet, and I'm hoping it stays that way for now because I haven't got the facilities to deal with any issues like that. Now, not enough customers again. This is happening everywhere, and I don't know whether it's to do with the tax again, so I'm going to bring the taxes down on commercial for a second and just see if that changes anything. Because usually the reason that places wouldn't get enough customers is because they can't access the area to shop, or in real life the shops don't satisfy the needs of what people want in the area. But I'm pretty sure the game doesn't go that in depth as to what people want to shop for. But it's becoming quite a big problem now. There's more and more not enough customers coming up, and I think I'm just going to pause the game there, and I'm just going to have a look at what this means just so we can figure it out. Right, so the main reasons which I've just read are that the commercial zones are too far away from residential zones, which is fine, or there's too many, which is very interesting because how can there be too many when you've got the demand that keeps increasing? So what I'm actually going to do is, which I hate removing areas, I'm going to remove these buildings. Let's see what that does to the whole area. It's not changed a great deal. Some have started disappearing from here. I don't want to remove just one building in each area because that's going to look odd. But perhaps there are too many shops per the amount of people that live there. That might be where we've gone wrong here. So I am going to remove this building and this one. And instead, I'm going to place green there so that house can eventually be built. And just by removing the amount of shops per the amount of people there, we should be able to cover that. And again, we've got the same issue over here, but there's a lot of people that live in this area. Let's remove these for now and just see what happens. Hopefully we get some more demand for residential. Hopefully we get some more demand for residential, which I don't see happening at the moment, but we need that really. So in general, based on the last game, which I'm assuming this follows, the higher the land value you have in the area, the more people will want to come to the city. I'm just trying to figure out where the land value is. I don't know where you find it. Let's have a look. It must be in budget, loans, taxes. It's not going to be in there. Services, production. It's not going to be in there. Let's have a look here. Progression. It shouldn't be in any of these. City information. It doesn't tell me land value there. City policies. Taxi minimum fare. And we have followed citizens, events, and the music playing. Underground, statistics, transportation. So that's interesting because... there we go. Does this tell me land value? Maybe the zoning section. Perhaps the district areas will tell me. You see here. Average wealth. Speed bumps. Heavy traffic ban, gated community, combustion engine. And I've just seen their roadside parking fee, which I am going to charge for. High crime, lack of entertainment, spacious homes, high electricity fees. Again, unless I'm missing something, I still do not see land value. If I click on the house, nope. That's very interesting. There's no land value there, but I am going to actually place a park or two. The happiness has increased, and hopefully by placing a park, I'm going to increase the desire for people to come to the city. But this actually doesn't really cover a very big area, so that's going to be a big problem. Let's try placing it. This really doesn't stretch very far. It only covers very small areas. And the way these roads have been built, it doesn't help. I wonder if I can place one down here somewhere. doesn't cover many areas. If I put it here, I think here's the best bet. If we can get it in that little section there, just after the roundabout. If I toggle snapping off, I think it's just too tight to fit in there. It won't go there. I think it's going to have to go on this little section. I need to turn snapping on to make it work. Just there. Let's put a park right on the edge of the cliff. Increase happiness, and demand has gone up a small amount. However, if you do remember, now every building is complaining about not enough customers, which is, it's just crazy. I don't understand it. We have some zoning down for medium density up here, which is why the demand might not be rising as much, but low density isn't increasing. I'm trying to increase the land value, which is often done through parks and recreation, but other than that, there's not much else we can do in terms of commercial. So again, do we destroy some of the commercial buildings? Because the whole city is almost complaining here that there's not enough customers. And the city does look dead. There doesn't seem to be a lot of traffic going through. Nothing seems to be happening, and I'm unsure as to why that is. We are growing in population. Which is a good rate. Nearly at 6,000. There must be a demand to live here. Now again, this could be something I've done incorrectly. It could be a bug in the game. It's something I'm not aware of. I don't see why. I'm going to bring the taxes down on commercial just for now, just to see if that makes a difference. I don't think the taxes does have a direct impact on how these customers are accessing the shops. But obviously the demand was there for these buildings in the first place. The amount of people hasn't reduced. So why is the city struggling with customers? Now, someone watching this might actually know more than I do about this, but I can't figure it out. Because if you look here again, the demand for commercial is starting to grow again. Why is there a demand for it if there's not enough customers to deal with what we've got? We're going to leave it. I don't want to make a whole episode talking about how many customers. I think this is going to be a short one. I think I'm going to cut it off there and then do a little bit of research into why this is, why we're not getting the customers, what's happening, and then hopefully I can readjust this next game and just start to increase the demand, because at the moment it doesn't make sense to grow this city out and start building more roads and areas because there's no demand for anyone to live there. So we can't move this city on until I find out what the problem is. And I don't want to waste time recording just looking at the city. So thank you all for watching, and if you have any suggestions, feel free to leave them and I will read them and put them into account. And thanks again, and I'll catch you in the next one.